In a world of noise and narratives, one voice stands unapologetically bold,
This is Jay Jones.
where facts meet fire, politics,
Current events.
even sports. No spin, no filters.
Just truth, raw and uncut.
Tune in, lock in, and let's talk real. Welcome to the show with Jay Jones.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Are you ready? That boy is good.
It's time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's time, man. It's been a little minute since I have been on a live stream. I think I owe y'all a little bit of an explanation. All right, just a little bit, but we're gonna get into a good show here today. we got a lot going on in the NBA, in the sports world, right? We have the, NBA gambling, sports rigging has, been taken down or started the FBI or started by the FBI takedown that has started in the NBA, which I don't think that this is the end of any of that. Also, I want to talk about Stephen A. Switching A. Smith is what I call him. What he had to say about the sports betting thing. And then I want to talk about Marvin Winans, Bishop Marvin Winans, with the church in Detroit with the $1,200 donation. I don't know if you guys have seen it or if this is more of a viral Detroit thing, but he basically kind of denied or embarrassed a lady for giving $1,200, told her it wasn't enough and she didn't listen. And I have a lot to say about this particular topic. So we're going to talk about Bishop Marvin Winans. And then there's a guy named Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle, he talks about some gas station owners and a black community. And I think we're going to touch on that too, man. I think there's just something I want to talk about. And from my lived experience, that could kind of make this all make sense for this guy named Charlie Hustle, who basically is trying to say, people in Detroit, stop spending your money with these gas station owners and look how they're living. And then, there's a lot of things we can learn. But anyways, I do owe you guys an explanation if you are watching this on the replay. I have done a lot of changing up here on the channel. So a lot of people participated in the live streams when it came to politics. And I still am very much into politics. I have just changed some things up, right? Going into 2026, I have just changed some things up to see if it's going to work, right? This YouTube channel that I have here is an experimental YouTube channel, okay? I still will talk about politics here and there, but I'm trying to just kind of reach a broader audience on this channel. And so you'll see me talk about more kind of trendy topics or just certain topics that I think that are just kind of important, right? I have been working on my real estate YouTube channel, which has officially crossed over 1,100 subscribers. It is a monetized channel. I have been very, very busy with that, and that has turned into a very successful channel. So a lot of my attention that I was putting towards YouTube, I put towards that real estate YouTube channel. And, to be honest with you guys, it's a lot more lucrative from a money perspective than this channel. But also I'm able to, get clients from reaching out from that video. And it's been nice, right? So I've been putting a lot of focus in on that. But I love doing my live streams. I love coming here to the channel to be able to just talk to you guys, give you my perspective, whether you like it or not. And I'm okay with a disagreement. However, today, I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say today with this sports gambling. And I think the one thing that a lot of people are missing, this entire thing, is the mafia.
Sensational.
We're talking about Chauncey Billups. We're talking about Terry Rozier. We're talking about Damon Jones. But we are not talking about the mafia. And I said, well, are we just going to continue to skate by that? Like, that's not a problem. And I like to consider myself like a mob historian. All right. I study the mob, meaning I used to just sit up and watch YouTube videos. I know the names of the areas. When they said the Colombo family, Genovese, Lucchese. Well, I don't think they said the Colombo family, but they said the Genovese, the Gambino family, Lucchese. I'm like, whoa. These are New York crime families. I said, where they been? I said, oh, wait a minute. And we have skipped over that. So I want to talk from, there's a mob person that was in the mob called Michael Franchise, right? What's going on, BX Mail? And he talks about sports gambling because he used to be in it back into the day. And I think I want to bring that to the channel to make this all make sense. Because although I am not surprised at the end result, meaning I'm not surprised that the gambling is going on and the sports rigging is going on, the names do surprise me, but what actually happened does not, right? So shout out to my man BX Mail in the building. My man, right? I'm in New York City. I've met a few connected people. Actually, I know, and I can't really speak too much, but I do know somebody actually in that life. So I'll put it that way. And not a proud thing to say, but let's put it this way, man. These athletes are silly, man. They silly folks. So we're gonna get into that. But like again, I wanna play what Michael Franchese said about it. I'll get a little bit into Switching A. Smith just because I just can't stand this guy's takes on stuff. We're gonna look at this Terry Rozier stuff, and then I want to talk about Bishop Marvin Winans. BX Mail, have you heard about Bishop Marvin Winans? Has it reached like all the way to New York City? Or I'm trying to see if this is just a viral Michigan thing where there's a pastor, he got a $1,200 donation, and then he basically embarrassed the lady in front of everybody. I'm trying to see if you guys have heard about that too. All right. we know that Stephen A. Smith is definitely on a Democrat train, but he really tries to straddle the fence, man. And sometimes I'm just like, I don't understand him. Like, he said something about Jasmine Crockett, right? And then once he got like embarrassed from the black community, he started walking back the Jasmine Crockett stuff. I said, no, stand on what you stand on, because what you said first was kind of right. And then, like you said, right, got to be on a Democrat train. He said, well, she's a very intelligent woman, this and that. I said, no, this lady is fake ghetto Nunu from ATL. All right. So yeah, you heard about it too. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it, man, because I used to see that type of stuff all the time in church, and not necessarily somebody like being embarrassed and telling them their donation is not enough, but that money grabbing and money asking stuff, man, it never sat well with me. Never did, man. So make sure you hit the like button to BX Mail. Yeah, he's terrible. So I want to now start the show, right? So what's going on, everybody out there in YouTube world, YouTube land? I am Jay Jones, and welcome to the live stream lineup. All right. I want to play this first video by this guy named Charlie Hustle, right? I don't know. I don't really understand it, man, but let's get to it, right? So hopefully I get it right on the first one from Instagram. Let me see. Boom.
Okay, Detroit, I'm tired of talking to y'all about something, so I figured I'm going to show y'all. Look at all y'all money. When you go to them people gas stations and they market, look how they living. Just look how we just giving our money to other folks.
Beautiful.
Look how they living and we struggling. All them raggedy gas stations, all them raggedy grocery stores and liquor stores. Look how these people living. And I remember when we owned gas stores and gas stations, the first thing we used to say, they got a Cadillac. They got a Cadillac. Don't shop at they store. Don't shop at they business because they driving a Cadillac. Now look how these people looking. Look how they living. Look how they living better than you. And you giving your money to these people every single day. I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming us for giving them our money. Spend your money in our community, black.
Hey, BX Mail, he said, I'm here for the bus driver. That's from Dark Knight, man. Anyways, let's talk about it. Beautiful houses from the comment section. I believe this is in Dearborn. But let me give Charlie Hustle a wake-up call. Him a wake-up call and everybody else. Listen, I went to school with a lot of the kids who family had gas stations in Detroit. I was friends with some of them friends with some of them people, and they went to school with me. And you know what? They came here and they organized. They organized together. They knew how to work. They had a plan. They were actually happy to be here in America. They didn't feel like America owed them anything. And a lot of these people that I'm talking about are Middle Eastern folks, and they are very hardworking, very much appreciative, smart individuals, and they have morals. They have values. And I'm talking about to the point where every Sunday they have a certain thing that they do. There's do's and don'ts that they have in their culture, and they still have their culture, right? And I get it. We've been stripped of our culture. We can go back and do all this whole, slavery, this and that. But here's the thing. Complaining about the fact that they have been able to build businesses and have successful businesses in Detroit while their kids and they stay out in the suburbs is what we should be trying to figure out. How do we follow that type of that type of guideline, that type of structure? Instead of going to Dearborn or wherever you went to say, hey, man, look how they living. Look where all our money going. No, look where some of our money's going. Because these people find ways to invest, and then they get into an industry. When an industry gets old, they get into another one, right? They always are finding ways to work together, right? Always. So we haven't gotten to that point in the Black community where we could just say, you know what? Let's look at the other cultures and see what they're doing right. No, you know what we're doing? We're still sitting up here talking about reparations, bro. We are still up here talking about reparations. Meanwhile, people are accelerating in life in the United States. A lot of times, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these immigrants that come here maybe 10 to 12 years are in a a much better situation financially than a lot of people, right? Because in 10 to 12 years, they figured out a way to bring their family over. They figured out a way to just organize. We don't have it in our community. We just don't. I have given up hope when it comes to the Black community. When I see a Black man or a Black woman that's finally doing the right thing, that's finally hey man, I'm not trying to follow the crowd over here, and I am literally successful and I want to move forward, I try to link up with those folks because they don't have the victim mentality that a lot of Black people that I've met have. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of hard to find somebody like that. They feel a lot of people in the Black community just feel that they're owed something. We're not owed anything. Nothing, bro. Just like the people that come over here, they owed nothing. So what I want to say is this right here, okay? We need to learn to do this because we are so far gone in our community, right? We got the young dudes is killing everybody. The YNs is pretty much our new culture and it's heading into the wrong direction. We need to take a step back and we need to see what other cultures are doing that are successful and take pieces out of everything that they're doing and learn to work together in our own family. That's the problem number one, is our own family. As soon as somebody get a little bit of money in our culture, we either start feeling away because they're getting a bunch of money, or they start, feeling like they don't need us. I went to school with a lot of these kids, right? Some of them are entitled. Some of them were real cool, but they family worked their asses off, man. They do. And you know what's funny? When they start getting to a working age, they start working for their family at them gas stations, even at a younger age. Some of them not even old enough to really work, but they always trying to do what? They're trying to teach them the value of business. I knew a few of my friends that was, hey man, I got to go to work at the party store. Hey man, I can't go to the football game today, man. I got to go work at my cousin's or my uncle's party store. Not only were they making money, they were getting a valuable lesson in business at a young age. This was going on with them. We are not paying attention. We're blaming everything and everyone instead of saying, how are they figuring this out? How are they getting gas stations in our own neighborhoods? Some people are going to say, well, they come over here and they get free money, this and that. Listen, man, we've been here. We are citizens. We should be able to find a way to get ahead. So when I see Charlie Hustle up here and I'm like, dude, if you don't have the plan and you don't have the resources, somebody else is. And you can't get mad at them for buying a house that they want. And it's not just one gas station. They probably got several businesses. The black folks just need to do this, bro. We just need to understand not just about getting money, but how to use money, invest money, and how to use our resources, meaning our family, so that we can get ahead. If we can't find ways to use our family and we can actually, elevate together without people being jealous, that would help us a lot. But we have a crabs in a barrel mindset, which is really the thing that bothers me the most. Is a lot of us have a crabs in a barrel mindset. We'll mess over our brother for $1 as long as we getting a little something. Some of us don't have an integrity, bro. Integrity. But anyways, they can live wherever they want to live, do whatever the hell they want to do, because they've been able to, withstand getting a business, going through the ups and downs, bringing their family over here, and they all learn how to work together. You know, another thing I learned that they know how to do, y'all? When they go live in a house, a lot of them will all live in that house. You will see a driveway full of cars. The women won't move out until they are married. And then when they go buy these big houses, they're pooling their money together. It's not always just one person making a bunch of money. But we can't do that. We can't even live with our cousins. We can't even live with our brother and sister because we want our own so bad. But who am I, man? Just a guy on YouTube. Shout out to BX Mill, man. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. If you've seen this on the replay, just say what's up, man. Let's get into this sports betting. I think that I was told about this sports betting thing, and honestly, when it first came about, I was like, what is this? What's going on here, right? Because somebody sent me a photo of Chauncey Billups, or a meme of Chauncey Billups like shooting. I'm like, why are you sending me a message of Chauncey Billups? And I threw like the eyes emoji in the group, and he was like, gambling, this and that. And I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? Like, what's going on? And then like right after, I slowly started getting all the news, and I'm like, okay. And I got to be honest with y'all. I am not really surprised at what's going on here. I'm not, man. I'm not surprised that these guys are gambling. Even Michael Jordan, and I'm be honest with you, Michael Jordan, remember, had to leave the league for a year due to gambling rumors. Y'all remember that? I'm going back, and Michael Jordan is one of my favorites. Obviously, Kobe Bryant is my favorite player. So obviously, Michael Jordan becomes kind of like right there. But Michael Jordan had to leave the NBA because of gambling. It was that bad. Though there were a lot of stories of Michael Jordan and maybe him paying the wrong people and being connected. These athletes are dumb. I don't know why we look at these athletes and think that they are just above us because they're making millions of dollars. These are just young kids with a whole lot of money. Yeah, you brought up another great point. Shout out to you, CG. Pete Rose. I forgot about Pete Rose. Now, I only know a little bit. I remember Pete Rose because I remember I used to watch wrestling and he would come on there. But I think he was part of, was it Cincinnati? Something like that. But yeah, something with him and gambling. Like, this has always been around, right? And these athletes just can't get enough. Again, some of these basketball players, right? These guys come in, they come in broke, they come in with bad habits, right? And then now they're getting paid millions of dollars. Now they are developing bad habits from people that are now also in the league. And what they doing? Gambling. Because money ain't nothing to them, bro. They making hundreds of $1,000s, in a game. They just, I'm blowing. Because they live in an active lifestyle while they're playing. Meanwhile, they go broke in 5 years after they retire most of the time. Definitely football players. But these people are not smart. So if you didn't put Chauncey Billups as far as the name inside of here, I wouldn't be surprised that they're gambling and that they are fixing sports. Okay. Let me talk to y'all, right? It could have been, right? It could have been, who knows? Michael Jordan I'm sure he still gambles. You know what's going to be sad to say this? He's probably a degenerate, man. Michael Jordan could be a degenerate gambler. Like a lot of these people, they just don't know how to say no. They just make a bunch of money and they don't understand it. This is how these guys go broke. They don't understand money. Now, I told this to somebody today in the sauna and they kind of were like, oh, well, yeah. I said, I know that this is shocking news. And I know that people are like, oh my gosh, like, you know, look what they're doing in sports. I said, but some people just have a gambling addiction. They have an addiction. And addiction makes you do the dumbest things in the world. Crackheads will do the dumbest things to get some money. A gambling person who's had a gambling addiction will bet anything when they are down or thinking they can win. I know a few people, even in my life, that they make decent money working. I'm talking making good money working, but they want to, I'm not going to say the specific thing that they do when they gamble. I almost gave it away. But they'll go to the casino, they'll do all these things, and they'll just blow all their money. And it follows bad habits, even though they're making good money at their job. So what makes it any different for an athlete? Y'all tell me. Tell me what makes it any different for an athlete who's making a bunch of money that has bad habits and now they're connected in with the mob. Now this part, my friends, BXML and CG, is where I buckle up because I'm like, oh, I'm a mob historian. I know of all these guys. I ain't just talking about the John Gottis of the world. I know about the, Chin Gigantes and Carlo Gambino and I know a lot of these guys. I sit up and just watch mob stories just because it's freaking Friday. Right? I know about Sammy the Bull Gravano. Right? We can go all the way back to Lucky Luciano. Right? We could talk about Bugsy Siegel, and you can't call him Bugsy because if you called him Bugsy, he'll really try to fight you. His name was Benjamin Siegel. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about, like, I will continue to go back and talk about all of these people. Like I know about the mob as far as what's been told to me, and I'm like, okay, I get him. They've always been into racketeering. They've always been into gambling. They've always been into these things. And I gotta be honest with you though, y'all. I was like, they still operate? They still operating? I was like, the NBA scandal and the mafia. I said, okay, they done got smarter. I said, because I ain't heard nothing about them. Like I heard about the Philly mob boss, Marlino, right? And then he done got him a podcast and he done tried to like basically like, get himself up. I was like, that was the real last like mob boss that I heard about, and I heard about that one thing that happened in New York where somebody got killed in the driveway, right? This was maybe a few years ago. But I was like, they still working, huh? And I said, they're probably making so much money now. Like this is how my mind works. I'm like, they're probably making a ton of money now because they're probably more legit now, and they're operating and people don't even know it. And if they're not out here killing folks and beating people up like these NBA players are, they're probably making even more money because they're keeping these people in debt. Back in the day, if you owed them a debt, they beat you up, take you out. Maybe they're not as violent as they were because then that brings on attention. I said, oh man, these people, they done got good. So anyways, let's get into Michael Franchese. He is a mob. He was a part of the mafia. He had an oil operation going, gambling operation, and he talks about how he was even now, still working with the NCAA and all these people when it comes to gambling, because he was a part of it. So he's trying to make sure that they're aware and the issues that's going on with it. And he talks about like how it's not a surprise, and talks about how dumb athletes are. So let's get into it. BX Mail, you said, I have a coworker who blows his money at the casino weekly and lost his wife and kids. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really matter just because these people have millions of dollars that they're not going to piss away their opportunity. And that's sad. It's sad, man. Like, again, every time we talk about athletes, I try to tell people, remember it on a smaller scale, right? Just break it down to a smaller scale of like you said, your coworker, or even your job. When we talk about money, these people are just making a lot more money, but they don't necessarily have the skills and the habits. So what can happen to somebody we know, it can happen to them too. They just got more money. So everything is just more expensive. Let's get into it, man. I want to get into this, man. I'm excited about this actually. Because like I said, I know about the mob. So let's go.
It's not the same as it was in my lifetime. No doubt about that. But they're not going away. And I've said this many times. They're not going away in my lifetime. They're very resourceful, and gambling will always be a major business of Cosa Nostra. That's just how it is. It's very attractive. It's very lucrative. Guys love to gamble, and they love to make money by gambling. So yes, they're going to continue. Are the sports leagues going to be targeted? Of course. Because they know athletes are easy prey in many, many cases. I'm sorry, they used to come to me, my bookmakers, and tell me things, which I'll get into a little bit. Athletes are easy prey. They get themselves in trouble. They owe a debt, and they got to do whatever they got to do to get out of it. Sometimes we have to intimidate them. Sometimes they just play along with us, whatever. But it happens, and it's not going to stop happening. Why? Because today, athletes have more access to gambling than they did in my day. Back in my day, you had to go to a bookmaker. You had to go to Vegas, maybe Atlantic City. Today, no.
Did y'all hear what he said? He said athletes are easy prey. So while we're looking at these guys as gods, he said they're easy prey. He said they got a bunch of money and we get them into debt and then they just keep going. And then the fact that everything is just so easy to gamble now, it makes it easier for them to stay around. The mafia is smart. Everything that they do is favored to them. So the fact that these games even got to the point of, them getting invited to wherever these mob guys were, or the fact that they started to bring their machines, however they were able to get themselves in, these athletes are dumb because they're like, oh, well, I got a bunch of money. I'll play with anybody. And then all of a sudden they get in so deep that by the time they realize that they're that deep, they're like, oh, damn, I owe too much. I don't want to pay all that back. Malik Beasley played for the Detroit Pistons. He's not even cleared to play basketball because they're still trying to figure out and get him, cleared of all that. But he's losing opportunity as an active NBA player, losing opportunities to play ball because you want to gamble, because you're gambling with the wrong folks. Because if you gamble with the mafia, which again, let's be honest here, if the mob is like, let's get these NBA players in debt, then we can infiltrate into the NBA. The NBA is what? A multi-billion-dollar company. How do we get into their pockets? Then, come on now. If y'all don't think that the mob is trying to work their way into the NBA and then make sure that the whole goal of the mob is to be able to make easy money. They need to find somebody who's smart, right? An earner who can bring in all that money to the families. And if you get these athletes and you get them in debt, now you can get them to do whatever you want them to do. Come on now, man. We got to think about this from a strategic standpoint and not from just the titles that they keep throwing to us on YouTube and CNN and ESPN. What is the ultimate move? The ultimate move is for the mob to be able to work through these dumb ass athletes and be able to get into a multi-billion-dollar company because they always have been into it. The unions, that's how they were able to get the monies from the unions. They got into casinos. They always were doing gambling. What got them in trouble was the RICO and the fact that they started getting into drugs. That's what really got them into trouble. Now they've bagged back, it seems like. And now they're just getting into gambling. But now the athletes are the easy targets. Let's see what else he's got to say.
Today you can gamble anywhere. So what happens? When they gamble legally and they lose their money legally, what do then? They try to make it up somewhere. They turn to a bookmaker. They have relationships on the street that say, I know how to get you out of this. Don't worry about it. And they do what Chauncey Billups does and a few of the other guys. And this is a widespread net that they seem to have pulled out over here. I'm going to read you an article so you know exactly.
You know what? Very good question. Very good observation there, BX, because I haven't looked all the way into Ohtani, but I definitely heard that like he had something and then it was gone like in 2 days. Like something about him gambling, getting in trouble, and it was gone in like 2 days. But let's get to the rest.
What I'm talking about, for those of you that that aren't aware of this yet today, but you will be because it's big news. And I'll go through it, and then we can talk about it. I'll give you my comments. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups, big name, great player, amazing. And Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, current player, and former NBA guard coach Damon Jones were among 34 individuals arrested Thursday in a federal FBI operation.
Are we going to keep skipping by this? Are we going to continue to skip by these 34 names? How come the people from the mafia have not been identified at all? Don't y'all find this a little odd? Maybe I got my tinfoil hat on, but why isn't there anybody from the mafia? Why aren't there mugshots out there yet? You know, maybe I'm jumping the gun too early, right? But we don't know their names. We know the family's names. Why don't we have them anywhere out right now? We got Chauncey Billups. We got Damon Jones. You got Terry Rozier. You said there's 34 names, so there's probably 31 other people. Where are the people from the mob at? I mean, I know we're not protecting them, but where they at? Who's been snitching, by the way? Let's get to the rest of this.
These are big names, people. The arrests were part of an FBI-led investigation involving multiple agencies and the NYPD targeting La Cosa Nostra crime families. I don't know if we were the target at this point. You know, listen, it's so hard to get away with something today because especially when you have a lot of people involved, somebody's going to mess up. Somebody's going to become an informant. Somebody's going to start to work with, the investigators. You can't get away with this for too long. Now, some of you may say, well, Michael, they might have made millions of dollars already. True. And maybe if they're going to do a couple of years in jail, they'll figure, hey, it's worth it. I'm set up when I come home. There's a lot of different schools of thought on this, but you're never going to get away with it forever. Very, very difficult, especially when you got high-profile players, because honestly, they're not all that smart. They don't know the ways of the street. They're not all that smart. They're going to get themselves jammed up. Okay. All three face charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Interesting. We'll get into that. The investigation included two coordinated operations, Operation Zen Diagram and Operation Nothing But Net. It was both, it involved sports gambling and it involved card playing. And this is the oldest trick in the book. With cards, oldest trick in the book. I mean, this goes back, God knows how long, certainly during my day and beyond. Yep.
So what's the trick, actually? Let me ask BX Mail. Let me ask anybody in the chat. So what's the trick? Is the trick to get them into a poker game, get them in debt, and then find out more information about whatever they're trying to infiltrate? Or what's the real play there when it comes to the poker game? Yeah, what's the real play to the poker game? Is it to get them in a debt? Is that the main goal or what? But I'm gonna leave that out there, man, because I do kind of want to know. All right, let's go.
Operation spanned 11 U.S. states. They focused on illegal gambling, money laundering schemes linked to organized crime. Remember this, people. Any bookmaker that can carry a bet or handle a big bet, they're going to be involved with organized crime. You know, in New York especially. Why? Because number one, we're not going to let them operate alone. They're going to have to operate with us. We're not going to let an illegal bookmaker operate on his own. He's going to have to answer to us. And if he doesn't, he's in trouble. We'll put him out of business or whatever. All right. And they want to work with us because remember, bookmakers give credit. They don't take your credit card. They don't take your money up front. They give credit. Well, if they have a collection problem, what are they going to do? Very simple. They come to us and we collect. We're pretty.
All right, let me see what you said, BX. You said so they were using card counting machines. You have X-ray playing tables, so the games were fixed. You had amateurs beating pro poker players. Problem number one, huh?
Good at collecting. So bookmakers want to be involved with us. They'll give up a piece of the action just to have the protection from us. So if you're dealing with a bookmaker that can carry any kind of a bet, they're going to be involved with us in some way, shape, or form. I'm saying us. You know, I'm not a member anymore, but, you know, sometimes I just say things like that.
Yeah. Okay, Michael Francesi. Okay. You just say stuff like that. You know what's going on out there. You got a little rumbling of what's going on. But this is my guy. I like Michael Francesi. But yeah, man. So we'll get into like the Terry Rozier and Stephen A. Smith here in a second. But I wanted to play his clip because I think it's important because we're going to keep hearing the same old things from all these other news stations, right? Oh, you know, they're gambling. Oh, they were fixed. They were doing all these bets and cars. But I said, okay, I got it. But let's talk from somebody who has experience in dealing with illegal gambling and how they get these people and what's the real strategy here, right? And he talks about the gambling starts with the poker game. Now we got them in the poker game. They've always been in the sports betting, right? I know the mob has always been in sports betting, sports rigging. They've always been into that, right? Knowing the referees, knowing how things going. That's always been a thing. And he's basically just letting you know this ain't going away. Even after this investigation, the mob has such a footprint in these sports betting areas, in these big name leagues, MLB, football, basketball. They've got their footprint in these leagues. They're not going nowhere because there's always going to be a dummy who's going to want more money. And he's going to say, all right, man, I'm going to play this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go the illegal way because they making so much money. They don't even care. They're not thinking straight. These are not the type of people that you want to be messing with, bro. These are not. And I don't know if we just live in a world that things have just gotten sweet, but the mob is not the freaking people you want to play with, man. They want their money and they want it when they say they want it. And if you don't give it to them, it's going to be a problem. And if they can't get to you, then they'll get to your family. So this is why you shouldn't play with these people. Now, I don't know, you can't tell me that they just disguise themselves so freaking well that you didn't know that this was the mob. See, let me tell y'all how bad I am with the mob, right? Look at my screen. Look at my screen here. Look at what movie I was just watching. Casino. I was just watching yesterday. Like, this is how bad I am when it comes to like the mafia stuff, man. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but I enjoy it. But anyways, yeah, these people are just dumb, man. I don't understand them. I don't understand why you want to gamble so much. You know, you just have such an addiction that you do the dumbest thing. You lose everything. Like Chauncey Billups is about to lose his job. His family is now in jeopardy. He's probably going to do some type of jail time, prison time or something for this. He's going to lose everything because he wanted to go do some illegal betting. And from what I was told, that he basically was like a face card who then invited people to a game, probably because he got into so much debt that he owed them stuff. He was then used so that they can use those machines and x-ray tables to invite other NBA players, and then mob start getting paid. The mob isn't going to lose. They're just not. I think the poker pros didn't take kindly losing to Lil Vinny from Staten Island and told the feds. Somebody said something. And you know what? These NBA players are not built tough. They probably got this snitching. people's lives are probably in danger, and somebody did the snitching. And I don't think it was just one big snitch. I think it was a few of them. Because Gilbert Arenas, I understand, was possibly a separate incident, but Gilbert Arenas caught a stray. All of a sudden, he was out. Malik Beasley caught a stray. Who else, man? Who else was just in this? We got the three guys here, right? Terry Rozier from a couple years ago. Like, it's just been a little too recent of all these takedowns and warnings from these NBA players. I think the NBA is kind of known that there's something that doesn't smell right, and they're trying to figure out what it was, just in my opinion. You think Malik Beasley was suspicious? What do you think it was? I think these players are just dumb, man. They're just silly as hell. Adam Silver. I think Adam Silver probably knew, man. I think that either Adam Silver was trying to keep it under wraps to where it didn't get out and he was trying to handle it internally, or he couldn't figure out what it was, and now it's coming out all at once. I think that now that it's so public, I think this is going to be he's going to be a lot more stricter on his disciplinary actions for these players. If they're doing any type of gambling, they're probably going to be done now because it's too big. All right. Yeah, Adam Silver's, he's always been weak. The whole NBA, the NBA product is weak. And this is another thing too, right? This is another thing. When it comes to the NBA is already suffering from ratings. Can you now see this is going to kill the ratings now? Oh, it's going to kill the ratings. First of all, the NBA, I think that the product is absolute trash, right? And I did watch the playoffs. That was the first time in a very long time that I've watched basketball, because basketball, it turned into like wrestling. Wrestling was really good and it just got really shitty. And a lot of it came down to the fact that it got so soft, getting texts for doing all type of things. Guys were doing load management, all type of weird stuff. Like it is, and then all the 3-point shooting just took me to a whole nother, like, I don't want to watch this crap no more. It's just stupid NBA. But now they're going to be even worse with their ratings, because people are going to be questioning, are they in on something? Because it's not going to stop just because they got this big scandal. This is going to continue. And if anything, they're going to ramp up and put more pressure on these guys, because they know that a lot of these guys are going to probably try to squeal. And they not about to have it, meaning the mob, the connected folks. They're not about to have this, bro. So you can't trust the NBA. You know what else you can't trust? We're going to get to it right now. I'm going to get to Stephen A. Smith. The NBA is too global. They don't promote American athletes, the best blaster. Best players are foreigners. Here's where we're going to go right now. The NFL, y'all not removed either. The NFL is not removed from this either. I will not be surprised when the NFL gets taken down because they were dealing with some type of sports betting, sports rigging. Because what happened to my Detroit Lions 2 weeks ago against the Kansas City Chiefs was an absolute blatant officiating disaster, to where you're looking like, okay, anybody going to look into this? I won't be surprised if they, because it's now ramped up in the NBA, doesn't mean that they don't have eyes on the NFL. I won't be surprised if there's some type of officiating going on with the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not trust what the hell is going on in NFL. I don't. I think there is way too much Kansas City love, and some of these games are ridiculous. Ridiculous. The calling is crazy. So don't be surprised when you see some NFL guys going down. And I think it's going to be a lot. To me, I think it'll be players, But don't be surprised if you see a lot of officials that end up getting taken down. It's my opinion. Chiefs games are suspect, bro. They have been since last year. It's like, well, they're just barely winning these games, these one possession games. They're barely winning. But what they did to my Detroit Lions, I now do not like the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs just as much. I hate both of them now. I can't stand both of those teams. I want both of them to have terrible seasons. Terrible seasons. But wait till they get to the NFL, man. Wait till they get to the NFL. Wait till they get to the Chiefs. Wait till they get to that payroll over there, because something doesn't make sense. It's so fucking fishy over there. It's so fucking fishy over there in the NFL. It stinks, bro. It stinks. You can't tell me that there's not some type of rigging going on over there. I mean, people are literally, fans are seeing it in 4K. They're seeing this stuff happen. They're like, this doesn't make any kind of sense. And then we just got to deal with it. But anyways, let's go to this next clip, right? The leagues are in bed with the gambling sites, so it's a messy situation. It's always has been. And guess who's going to be in charge of the gambling sites? And I told my boy Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. Yeah, he doing his thing so far. Lost that game, though. You know, I know they gave him a participation award. They were like, he's doing good, Giants. You should be happy. I mean, he's doing his thing, but you got to win, though, bro. You know, we don't, you know, even as I'm not a Giants fan, but I'm like, you know, I don't want participation awards. You got to win them games. But it's something to be happy, something for y'all to be happy about. But y'all go play us. I seen y'all on the agenda towards the end of the season, and we'll see how he playing by the end. We'll see how he deal with Hutchinson, my man Muhammad, Derek Barnes. We'll see how he deal with them. We'll see how the Giants deal with them. I'll be ready, BX Mel. My Lions gonna be ready. Dart go get sacked at least 4 times when he come play the Detroit Lions, big dog. It's happening. All right, let's get to Switching A. Smith, man. Let's get to his horrible take on what he believes is the problem with this sports betting. Let's go.
We know what world that I live in terms of politics.
I don't.
How many times, for one incident after another, have I said, Trump is coming? He's coming. I'll say it on national television again. Bad Bunny is performing at the Super Bowl, and all of a sudden you hearing ICE is going to be there, looking to engage in mass deportations. The Super Bowl, disrupting things. Big night for the NBA. Wembanyama put on a show. That has now been smeared because we're talking about this story.
Who cares about what Wembanyama did? As if he's not going to do it in 82 other games. He's got 82 games to play. He's going to probably get another double-double or triple-double or whatever. Who cares?
Okay. Remember, Trump has...
These people were still they were betting. They were gambling. It doesn't erase the fact that this stuff is wrong.
Long history connected to the world of sports because he had those casinos. Where do you think folks were coming half the time? I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about the culture. When people want to go to a casino, when people want to gamble, when people want to party, or whatever the case may be. This was his kind of connection to that. Why am I glad you're here, Monica? Because don't be surprised if the WNBA is next on his list. Because when you've got all...
Sensation.
You can't be... Hey, bro, Stephen A. Switching A. Smith. No one cares about the WNBA, bro. No one. Like, their ratings are shot. No one cares about the WNBA. Ooh, this guy's insane, bro. He is insane. Stephen A. just be talking sometimes. I'm telling y'all, man.
All of these protests that have been going out there and people that have been protesting against him and what have you, this man is coming. He's coming. And I've been saying it for a long time. And to me, this is the latest nugget of evidence that we're talking about right here. That's not to question the legitimacy of the case. We don't know. We're all sitting up here and we're saying that we don't know. But anybody that has been around him, Anybody that has talked to him, anybody that has seen his reactions from the sports leagues and the positions that people have taken, they are not surprised at what's going on today. I'm watching a press conference with the director of the FBI. Tell me when we...
He said, ain't nobody betting on Dyke games. Nobody's betting on the WNBA, dog. Nobody's betting on the WNBA. You gotta be kidding me, bro. This guy, great take. I guess a dead clock is right twice a day. You just trying to be right, huh?
Watching a press conference with the director of the FBI.
Gosh, but that is...
Tell me when we've seen that. We've seen people, we've seen accusations before. We've seen athletes get in trouble with the law before. You don't see the director of the FBI having a press conference. It's not coincidental. It's not an accident. It's a statement. And it's a warning that more is coming. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're saying here. And everybody better, I'm just telling you, it's as serious as it gets. This ain't the platform for me to get into it the way I'm going to get into it. But I've been saying he's coming. He's coming because in...
Bro.
Wait a minute.
What is this, bro? He's coming? Okay. You know what, Stephen A? This has been an investigation that's been going on for years. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, this was going on and being investigated even in the Biden years. Okay? The FBI, the Justice Department, they don't just come out and just willy-nilly make up a case and be like, okay, we just seen this happen last week and we're gonna come out to the media and tell them all this information. This has been years in the making. He's coming as if he was like, yeah, so I got elected and we're gonna go ahead and get those sports betting issues handled. Let's go ahead and get to the NBA. First of all, where's the accountability at? Okay? They should not be doing illegal sports betting. They shouldn't be at these illegal poker games. Okay? Let's just handle the facts, right? Again, because this is Democrat talking points, right? They don't like to live in the factual world. Facts is this is wrong. They shouldn't have been in these things. These people are making millions of dollars. They shouldn't be at poker tables of people that they don't know. They should, if you want to gamble, go gamble at the casino, whatever, cool, whatever. But this should not be happening. You should not be having insider trading and talking about who's hurt and who's going to be under to other people that are looking to bet on these games. It's wrong. How does Donald Trump, what does he have to do with the fact that these people were breaking the law, bro? What does Bad Bunny and ICE have to do with your assessment of these people doing illegal gambling? Like, you're just throwing a cocktail full of bullshit in here, bro. Let me just see what's going to work. Let me just throw in Bad Bunny. Let me throw in Trump. Let me throw in this. Let me throw in the WNBA. Let me just throw in a bunch of stuff and just toss it out there. Bro, you sound like a complete buffoon, bro. No one cares about the WNBA. No one's betting on that. Donald Trump, this FBI investigation was going on for years. They were already in the crosshairs of the FBI. Okay? Chauncey Billups, somebody you probably know, and all these other guys, they are wrong. Call it what it is. Period. What does Donald Trump have to do with this? The level of Trump, let me tell y'all something, bro. Oh, man, we'll talk about the White House renovation in a second. The level of Trump derangement that I see from people that I know, I'm talking close people that I know, and people online, is absolutely insane. These people wake up to Donald Trump on their mind like the coffee that they want to drink. The first thing on a lot of these people's minds is Donald Trump, and it's a sickness. I mean this, and I'm not even trying to be funny. A lot of times I've joked about it and I just laugh. It's a sickness. It's a problem. And I'm noticing a lot of older people are waking up with Donald Trump on their mind, on their frontal, bro. The first thing that they tweeting about, the first thing they talking about is Donald Trump. Get the hell over it. He's the president. He's going to make decisions. All you got to do is figure out how you and your family are going to be good and win. But y'all keep talking about Donald Trump to the point where there's a sports betting operation going on, an illegal insider trading operation going on for sports. And the first thing you're going to say is it's Donald Trump's fault. How in God's green earth does that even make any sense when these people were breaking the law? Right? How does this make sense? Postpartum podcast says, I just got here and the first thing I hear is Trump. What a warm welcoming. I don't understand people. I don't understand how this doesn't make any logical sense, bro. Like the FBI is taking down an operation that has to deal with the mafia. So if it's Trump's fault that he's coming, are you okay with the mafia operating and infiltrating into the sports betting world to eventually what they're going to end up doing is taking over these multi-billion-dollar leagues if they're not already? So you're okay with that. But instead, you're going to blame Donald Trump as if he gives a damn. This is what Stephen A is trying to say, y'all. I see you, Steph. You got a podcast? Got to talk about that. I forgot what I was going to say because I seen postpartum podcast. I don't say she had a podcast. But anyways, yeah, man, you just can't blame Donald Trump for this. It doesn't make any sense. Some people just really need to get over the fact that he's in the presidency, man. There's going to be a lot of hurt folks when Donald Trump is out of office and he's not running in 2028. The damage is already done. The media has done crazy damage to you guys' mindsets. So anyways, that's the crazy take from Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith believes that Trump just targeted these people, and it doesn't make any sense, bro. Like I'll call a spade, right? If Trump is wrong on something, I'll say I don't really agree with that, and Trump is wrong. But this is the FBI. There's a mob-related, incident here connected to sports betting, inside trading, and illegal gambling. All of those things are wrong and illegal. Has nothing to do with a president, whether it was Joe Biden, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton. It has nothing to do with any of them. There's people breaking the law. Okay? This idiotic take of switching A. Smith. This guy is terrible, bro. So shout out to Steph. This is Steph. So Steph, do you got a podcast now? Postpartum podcast? Is it on YouTube, or are you starting something? What's going on here, man? I want to know a little bit what's going on. I'm so confused. Did Stephen A mention? Yes. So what happened, Steph, is that Stephen A. Smith, he went on to his show and he basically said that Trump is coming, right? And he's not blaming. He's saying that Donald Trump is the reason why all of this sports betting happened, right? Because he's targeting these people because Donald Trump didn't get to get a sports team and all these things. And so he's doing this. And I'm like, bro, that doesn't make any sense, right? Even if he were looking at the NBA, which he's got a lot of things as a president to worry about, if they're doing things that are illegal, which this is a big deal, they should be handled by the law accordingly. So that's what Stephen A. Smith, he's trying to basically blame Trump for what is happening here with Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, all these people that are illegally sports betting, right? You said, wait, they've been cracking down on sports betting, right? Insider trading is really the biggest problem, right? Because sports betting is legal, right? But I mean, you can't start going to like bookies and stuff like that and start booking bets. That's still illegal. And then insider trading saying like, hey, LeBron James is going to be sitting out, man, because, I'm real cool with him. And I know his ankle is real bad. And he, told me that he probably ain't going to play. And then you're going over to these people saying, yeah, so I already know LeBron James isn't playing today. So go ahead and bet the under. Like, you can't do that. right? And they know this. Like, there's rules in the league for this. These people know that. This is just like our job has certain rules within HR that we know to do and not to do. When we're in that culture, we know these things. These NBA players know these things. You don't play poker games with people outside of your teammates. You don't start inviting people from the outside to start playing poker with you and gambling with you, because it can turn into an extortion type of thing. So I'm not feeling bad for any of these folks. They know what's going on. Oh, here you go. Yeah, you blame Trump too. Yeah, you probably blame Trump for everything. I bet. I bet, man. Trump is probably the reason why, if we run out of apples, it's Trump's fault, right? I woke up with a headache. It's Trump's fault. And maybe it is Trump's fault because y'all be thinking about Trump so much. He probably is got so much free real estate in y'all head. But seriously, hey, do you got a podcast or something? Hold on, let me look this up. And we'll get to the next story. We'll have to hear about Terry Rozier, and then we'll get into this pastor, Pastor Marvin Winans. No, I don't see it on here. Yeah, he is probably the reason you stubbed your toe earlier. He's probably the reason why your favorite team lost, too, as well. I'm starting one. Okay. Shout out to old Steph Jeff. Now, let me tell you something here, Steph. Don't say you're going to start it and then half do it. Like, please don't. For real, man. Like, if you're going to half do it, just don't do it at all. Just don't even do it. So you have your reason why you want to do it, who you want to reach out to, and then just create the content. Do not try to make it perfect like everybody tries to do. Just start where you are and then make the content. So many people say, yeah, I'm going to make a podcast, right? Including myself. I'm going to make this podcast. I got this great idea. I'm going to do this and that. And then you get so caught up in the weeds that you never even start. So I would legit take your phone, set that motherfucker up, and make your first video and continue from there. All right? All right. I just don't like when people say, yeah, I'm about to create a podcast, man. Yeah, I'm about to do this YouTube thing. I'm like, all right, cool. Because they think it's easy. And I say, well, what's your goal in YouTube? And they'll tell me some bullshit answer. I'm like, just tell me you really want to make money on YouTube, bro. Like, just be real. All right. Or if you really just want to build a community of people so you can have people to talk to, or that you can help, or maybe people you can, whatever, say that. But so many people lie and be like, yeah, I just want to create this YouTube because I want a really cool podcast. No, you want to get paid from YouTube. And YouTube don't pay out a whole lot for real. Like, unless you start skyrocketing, right? I got 13,000 subscribers. I can tell you if it pays out pretty good. My other channel pays out pretty good. But it all depends on your niche, right? And it all depends on how many. Yeah, I'm about to get all into it. I don't know a whole lot about it. I know enough about it. But yeah, man, if you got any questions, let me know. But please start your podcast. And if you start your podcast, just start it. Just start and go. And you perfect things later on, right? All right, let's get into Terry Rozier. Mr. Terry Rozier. Scary Terry is what his name used to be. Well, I don't know if they're going to be calling him Scary Terry in jail. They're going to might be calling him Terry Berry.
Stories in the NBA.
Terry Berry.
Since part of this with Rozier, of course, stems from him allegedly faking an injury, I played up until just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here he is making a drive. No hobbling, no grabbing, nothing that looks to seem odd or out of the unusual with an injury. He's running up and down the court, seems to be just fine. We see him come back down the court here, cross someone over, make a pass. Again, still not hobbling, still not limping or anything at all on that right foot, which was allegedly where the injury was. Finally then, Rozier's coming down here playing defense. 2:30 left in the first quarter. Don't see him grabbing at his foot, nothing, standing there seemingly pretty comfortable, walking back to the bench after a timeout. The official word from the Rockets in the second quarter was that Rozier was doubtful with foot discomfort. We can see him here sitting on the bench after he's come out of the game. This is with about 2:12 left in the first quarter. And you'd think if there was some foot soreness, maybe you'd be seeking medical help. You'd be having your athletic trainers evaluate you, looking at things, rubbing on your foot. No, Rozier just sits here seemingly carefree, not making any motion whatsoever towards his foot. Next possession down the court, a minute 40 left in the game. Still Rozier sitting there comfortably, not making any motion to his supposedly sore and uncomfortable foot. We then get down to 12 seconds left in the first quarter. Still Rozier, shoes on, not motioning at all to his foot. Not any indication whatsoever that he seems to be dealing with any sort of foot soreness. He's been sitting on the bench for 2 minutes of game time, probably 5 minutes of real time, with no indication that anything is happening to his foot. And then we finally see something change here with just literally seconds to go in the first quarter. It looks like Rozier has his right shoe off and is starting to maybe rub at that ankle, rub at that foot. We then see him not return to the bench at the start of the second quarter, and of course not return to a game the entire rest of the year. So, watching this back, absolutely nothing.
All right. Pretty interesting. So that's one of the games that he's really under fire for, because they said that's the game that he went under, and he told people that he was going to take himself out of the game so that his friends could make money, which is absolutely insane. But there was a game against the Heat that he just threw things away. Can I find it? I seen a video of him literally, like, he was playing horrible. Like, he was just throwing a ball away. Like, it was so questionable. It's for support for able to after arrest. I don't care about y'all coaches and players expressing gratitude for him. If he up there faking games, imagine getting paid millions of dollars to fake some BS, bro. I don't feel bad for these athletes one bit. If you think I feel bad for Terry Rozier, Chauncey Billups, my man, Chauncey, I don't feel bad for these guys, man. Y'all make too much damn money to make these stupid mistakes. I mean, goodness, y'all gambling? You gambling. Come on, bro. Get up out of here with that mess. All right, hold on. Let me find this clip. Terry Rozier, Heat, sports betting. I should have saved the damn clip. I know I should have. Oh, there was one game that he did terrible, bro. You know, I'm not going to be able to find it. I know I should have saved it. All right, but anyways, yeah, these players, they're just too silly, man. You know? I mean, y'all, you're taking yourself out of the game. You're betting it, so your friends can make some money. Like, forget all these people and your friends making money. You know what I'm saying? You the one that was blessed with a God-given talent. You get to go and make millions of dollars and change your life, which anybody mostly in this world would trade, financial situations with you and be set probably for the rest of their life. And you go up and do the dumbest thing of faking an injury. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? All right, let's get over to Bishop Marvin Winans. And I want to play this, and I want to end this. I want to end this all off, right? I got a whole lot to say for people when it comes to the church, right? I think the black church is cooked. I think they're cooked. You know what? I played that one already. Marvin Winans, $1,200. $1,200. That boy tried to fix it though, didn't he? He tried to go straight on to ABC7 and fix that mess that he did.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of perfecting church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Do y'all notice how they laughed at her though? See how the whole church just said, "Oh, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, you didn't give enough. Ha, ha. Pastor's funny." Y'all ain't gonna call it the pastor, right? Now she's smiling, she's laughing after. Can you imagine, right? Somebody tells you that your donation is not enough, right? If some of y'all seen that South Central drinking, I forgot the name of the thing. South Central drinking your juice in the hood, right? Minister Society. And he said, make it enough, right? Can you get the basket here on that side? Can you get the basket on that side? Can you get the basket on that side? That's how he treated her. You know what really bothers me about all of this is that as a young kid going to church, I may have not have seen someone like Marvin Winans embarrass someone about their donation. I would constantly hear pastors talk about the money that the saints are giving and how they're not giving enough. And, you know, I even had one pastor that was like, we about to start giving out, like, we about to start putting statements on like the projector so we could start seeing how much people give. And I always thought that it was really, really, it turned me off from the church. Not saying I don't go to church and I don't love God, but the church itself turned me off when you start trying to dig into people's pockets and tell them what they should be giving. I am coming here because I am dealing with life and I'm trying to get away from probably financial situations. I'm trying to get away from everything that happened to me in the last week or this season. And I got to come to you. And now you got to start taking money from me and telling me and scolding me about my 10% as if I give anything, if it ain't enough, I'm not a great saint and God don't love me. It always bothered me about the church when it came to this money stuff. And then they would have multiple services, a morning service, an evening service, and they're just taking money. I'm like, this is a tax-free industry. Shouldn't they be learning how to manage the money that they have? Another thing that really bothered me is pastors with Bentleys, pastors with helicopters, pastors with massive homes. And one part of me says, I do get that you do have to live a good life. Quality of life is a thing. But then my other part is like, but if you're using the saints' money to live like this, it's just something that doesn't sit well with me. Right? Sure, you can make a biblical scripture for anything that you want for your situation, but I just never felt comfortable with like, man, y'all taking saints' money and living life and y'all buying cars and jewelry with this money probably. And then want to ask them for more money. And then tell them that they're not giving enough. Marvin Winans had the audacity to go onto ABC News and say this. I mean, I'll just play it, right? I'll just play it instead of me just saying something about it. In fact, I got it right here. I got it queued up already. No need to even try to find it. Here you go, right here. The news. Uh-oh. Here's a...
Marvin Winans hosted a day of giving. Members of Perfecting Church were asked to donate $1,000 and raise another $1,000 to help finish the new sanctuary in Detroit and support their community programs. Pastor Winans asked those giving $2,000 or more to come to the front of the church first, with others following, from the largest donors to those donating as little as $1.60.
My question is, does it matter what line people are in for real? Like, if they're coming up to give money, why do they got to have a line? Why do you need to know who's in this line and who's giving what? Really? This is the $1,000 line. This is the 1,000 plus 1,000 line. And then this is the low donation line. Like, why you got to put people on these lines instead of people just coming up giving their money?
62. But one member, Roberta McCoy, went viral after someone posted video of her coming to the front with less than $2,000, claiming she was rebuked by Pastor Winans. I spoke exclusively with both pastors.
And then look, man, you got more people lined up. He takes her donation, and right after he takes her donation, makes her feel like, you know, less of, and basically says she ain't got enough. Look at all these other people coming right on up to give their donation. Bro, this is the part that bothers me the most right here. It's just how people can be so blinded by stuff. Let's go.
Pastor Winans and Roberta McCoy, who says she's been attacked online since that video began spreading. You're the woman in that viral video. Right. He did not rebuke you.
He absolutely did not rebuke me. Now, there's a difference. There was a correction, because let me clearly state that Pastor gave instruction.
But see, these are the type of women that if their husband gives them instruction and if their husband corrects them, they give him a problem. If her husband or their husband tells them that you got to dress up a little different way, I don't like the way you dressed, or I don't like what you're doing here, they won't take instruction well from their husband. But I guess a pastor could tell you that you're not giving enough and you need to be in another line, but he can correct you all day long because that's the pastor. That's the pastor. That's the pastor. We listen to pastor, but you won't listen to your man, though. Right? The man that's going to work, the man that's going to provide for you, the man that's trying to do the best to provide a great lifestyle for you, you'll give him problems, but then you give your pastor no pushback. I bet. Oh, trust me, I'm not talking about this particular woman, but there's women like that in the church. There was a woman that just came up there and she gave $20,000, okay?
On the lines to get into.
I was calling because the whole church was giving, and it was our day of giving, and the whole church was coming, and we didn't want people standing, the mothers and all that, so I was calling them by increments. And we had someone that had given out of before, and I corrected it, and I told everybody to listen and come when you call, and that's all that was.
You don't tell me nothing, bruh. You don't tell me what to do and how to correct me. If I'm going to Best Buy, if I'm in line, I have a product and I have money. I have the product, I pay for money, and I'm done. You don't tell me, hey, you need to be corrected. You need more money for this. Don't tell me what to do with my money. This is a church for your building fund or a fundraiser, whatever it was for. You take my money. How dare you have the money for a fundraiser and then tell somebody, yeah, man, you ain't really giving enough. It's a fundraiser. Any money is good money and it has to be used towards the purpose of the fundraiser. If it's for a building fund, they're giving you money towards the building fund that you take their money and you use it towards that. Insane, bro. Absolutely insane. And people will try to hide behind the Bible and try to convince people that they're right when they're wrong because they can throw out biblical scriptures. Let me tell you something before we get into the rest of this. When people start throwing out Bible scriptures, okay, this is the thing about me. When you start throwing out Bible scriptures in a regular conversation with me, I start to question your mental. I start to question that, like, are you okay mentally? Because why do you feel like you need to have an ancient Bible to back up your wrongdoing or justify your point? Why can't you talk to me, man to man or woman to man or whatever it is, person to person? Why do you got to, well, in the Bible in 1 John, it says, well, we ain't talking about the Bible. We talking about real life. Some people that do too much biblical scriptures don't live in reality. Too many people that just live in the Bible and what the Bible says are people that don't live in reality. They are some of the most fearful people that I've met in the church. They scared of everything. Everything is spooky. Everything is witchcraft. Everything is this. Everything is that. I said, ain't you supposed to be a warrior of God? Aren't you supposed to be able to fight through these things? Y'all scared of everything. But then you could tell somebody a Bible scripture and then tell them how bad their lifestyle is in 2 seconds, though. Or when you're doing something wrong, well, it's so great. When we all fall short to the glory of God. But in your eyes, as long as you got a biblical scripture, then you're fine. Christians have been some of the most hypocritical folks that I've met in my life. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I have met the most hypocritical folks are Christians. And they will use the Bible to back up their bad behavior. And they're good at it. They know the scripture. They can get straight to the scripture without even going through it. And they're quick to call something else witchcraft and this and that. When if you really think about a lot of the things that you have to do in the Christian belief, somebody else could say the same thing about you and what you believe. Think about it. But meanwhile, pastors can get up there and tell y'all about yourselves when he's struggling himself as a man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it could just be just me, man. I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I am a spiritually balanced person. I don't go around, and I try my best not to go around just judging people, because everybody has to go through life and learn their lessons, right? And you accept people for who they are at that moment. You don't try to start correcting everybody because you don't like something about people. You give people the common courtesy of just being themselves instead of trying to change them, and you want them to be a certain way. But I have watched people bow down to pastors, figuratively speaking. Oh, pastor, what do you need? Pastor, I'll get you water. Pastor, I'll get this. Pastor, I'll get that. Okay, cool. Pastor, you get that, right? Meanwhile, they have husbands here. I've watched women in churches with husbands, and I'm like, they husband cool, and their husband will talk to me, but I'm like, but then y'all having marital problems, but you're doing everything for the pastor, though. I mean, they'll get up there and they'll literally say, me and my husband having this and that, I have problems here and there. But then you're doing everything for the pastor, though. Why you don't do this for your husband? I'm just saying, man, there's a problem here that's going on.
Roberta told me Pastor Winans personally apologized to her. She's been a member of Perfecting Church since 2013 and has given faithfully over the years and will continue to do so.
But first,
and he's gonna continue to take your money until you wake up. Until you wake up, Roberta, he's gonna continue to take your money. A mega church that's in Detroit. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Like I said, man, I think the church part of it, you got to be careful because that can ruin your experience. I like being able to get the word. I like being able to, get some understanding, but a lot of times church folks will ruin the experience. It's my opinion. Just my opinion when it comes to this. When it comes to the church, it's no different than anything else, man. Anything else that you do too much of can be unhealthy. Okay? And you have to be careful because some of these folks have become so brainwashed in the church. They will come to Sunday service. They'll come to Tuesday, Wednesday Bible study. They'll go to a choir rehearsal. They'll go to, and then they back again at church on Tuesday. Back to church again on Sunday. They will spend all week in church. They will give everything to church. It is so bad that Kwame Kilpatrick went and robbed the city of Detroit. Okay. Went to jail, went to prison, right? Which I think the prison sentence was a little too long, but went to prison, right? Needs to pay restitution to the city of Detroit. And he said, I ain't paying no restitution. Became a pastor and now has a following of people from Detroit, Michigan, following Kwame Kilpatrick in an industry where you don't have to pay taxes. And guess what they're doing? They're giving them money. He's using the church because these people can be so blinded. You can convince them of anything as long as you appear to be a strong, godly man. Kwame out here fooling folks, living in a big, beautiful house, still not paying the people from the city of Detroit what has been owed to them based off of his court case. This is how bad religion can get. Anyways, y'all, that is my show. Decided to come up on here, man. I wanted to talk about this sports betting and this mafia thing. I wanted to create a little bit of content. Like I said, I have taken a step back on the channel just because I've been working on the real estate stuff, and it's been taking off, and it's been doing good. So the real estate YouTube channel, if you guys do want to tune in, it is Detroit Living Jay Jones. So if you type in Detroit Living Jay Jones, it'll come up. So I've been putting a lot of attention over there, man. And like I said, I still will do politics on this channel. I've taken a lot of the content off just because I just did an analytics test, and I'm just trying to test out different things. This entire channel is an experimental channel. And so, how I even got 13,000 subscribers is through experimenting. So, got to continue to keep messing with this. All right. Make sure y'all comment on this live stream. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Like I say after every video, this is chess. It's not checkers. I'm going to see y'all at work, right?
In a world of noise and
I'll see y'all, man.